Hello my loves and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Alexis, but in today's video we are going to be getting in the Christmas spirit. What is today? Today is currently December 6th. I totally lied. Today is currently December 4th and that means Christmas is like 20 days away. So we need to start getting in that festive Christmas holiday mood. And what better way to do that than to read some holiday themed books. So every time I pick up a holiday, Christmassy, winter themed book for the entire month of December up until Christmas, my plan is to vlog it. So let me do like a little tentative TBR for the month of December. I don't know if I'm going to get around to all of these, and let's be honest, I'm probably not going to. It's better to have too many holiday winter themed books on your TBR for the month than none at all. At least that's what I'm thinking. So the first one I'm going to put on my TBR is With Love from Cold World by Alicia Thompson. This will be my first book by this author. The only thing that has me nervous heading into this one is that it's on the thicker side for a romance. This next one I know I'm going to read within the next like 2 weeks or so. I'm going to take this one to Hawaii with me because, spoiler, that's where I'm going on vacation. But this is Tessa Bailey's newest romance release. This is Wreck the Halls. Honestly, you can't go wrong with a Tessa Bailey Christmas book. I read Window Shopping by her, I think a few years ago at this point, and unpopular opinion, I actually really loved it. I feel like it would be a crime if I didn't have this one on my TBR, but this is A Holly Jolly Ever After by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone. This is the second book following A Merry Little Meet Cute, I'm just going to put it here on the screen. I read that one last year and thought it was so much fun, and it was a lot spicier than I thought it was, but I am nonetheless still excited to head into this one. Some ones that I don't have physically on my TBR, let me pull up, because there are a lot of Christmas novellas that came out this year, or ones that are like just getting popular that I haven't read yet. I have so much energy right now. I have no idea what's happening. So some possibilities that I could read. Let's go through this list. There is The Christmas Swap by Talia Samuels, The Holiday Mix-Up by Ginny Beard. We have The Gift by Frida McFadden. This audiobook is actually only an hour long, so I could easily knock that out on a flight. We have Christmas Presents by Lisa Unger. Another option we have is Dead of Winter by Darcy Coates. I know that's a longer book. We have all of Jenny Holiday's 3 Christmas books, which is A Princess for Christmas, Duke Actually, and So This Is Christmas. I didn't know this was a series, so I own the 3rd book in it, but I heard that you don't have to read them all in order to understand. It's more of just like interconnecting characters. I feel like I'm forgetting one. And then the last one I want to mention is The Christmas Guest by Peter Swanson. This is a 3-hour novella. This one just came out a few weeks ago, but nonetheless, I have a really good selection of Christmas picks throughout the next couple weeks. I don't know what I'm going to read yet, but I am so looking forward to getting in the holiday mood. So whatever I decide to pick up first, and whenever that might be, I will be sure to update y'all. Hello, it is now several hours later. I am home from work and my room is a mess. I literally threw everything that I am packing for vacation on my floor, and now I have to like put it all together and put it in my suitcase. Don't mind my hair, I needed it out of my face for this task. Since I have everything out, I am going to throw on a holiday audiobook. I figured I might as well. So I'm actually starting with the one that I'm going to get done the quickest, and that is The Gift by Frida McFadden. This audiobook is only an hour long, so listening to it on double speed, I might get it done by the time I'm done folding and putting away all of this. We will just have to see. I have absolutely no expectations going into this because Frida McFadden and I have not had the best relationship. Everything I have read by her, I haven't necessarily loved, but I keep giving her another chance after another chance because I know how loved she is by a lot of people on here. But if this is another one of her stories that I am not on board with, I think it's time for McFadden and I to part ways. Let me show you what my floor currently looks like. It's a mess. So we just have some shirts, some more shirts, everything I am packing to go in here. Now this is why I use packing cubes. They literally save lives. So I just finished reading The Gift and I finished packing, so that was a gift in itself. But y'all, So you know when you read short stories sometimes, it can kind of leave a bad taste in your mouth or it's left unsatisfying. The ending was messed up, but like, it was pleasant. It was well-rounded for the reader. Let's just say a homegirl got some revenge. The beginning part was a little bit repetitive, like using the same sentences over and over again, but how critical can you be for like an hour audiobook? I'm sure this is like a 50-page book, if that. So in The Gift, we start off at a diner. We are with two coworkers, one of which just got married, and it's going to be her first Christmas with her husband, but she is having some financial issues, so she wasn't able to get him a gift this year. He texts her all excited and ready to open gifts when she gets home on Christmas, but alas, she does not have anything. Hence the title of this book, The Gift. She strikes a deal with an odd lady in the diner, and the story just unravels from there. I was drawn in the beginning. I was hooked. It was very eerie, creepy, voodoo vibes, which I wasn't expecting, but I was pleasantly surprised with. Was this anything substantial? Not really, but did it pass the time and get me in the mood to pick up a different holiday book? Absolutely. It's not 4 or 5 star worthy, so I think I'm going to settle on giving The Gift a 3-star rating.
Please don't be alarmed by this head in the mirror. That is just a cardboard cutout of Sheldon. I'm in my childhood bedroom because it is the night before we are heading to Hawaii. I wanted to update you guys because I need to pick my next holiday read since I will be heading on a plane for the majority of tomorrow. I'm going to start the morning off tomorrow by reading The Christmas Guest by Peter Swanson. This is a super quick audiobook. It's about 3 hours long and I'm going to listen to it on double speed. I don't really know what this one is about. This just says, The Christmas Guest is a spectacularly spine-chilling novella in which an American art student in London is invited to join a classmate for the holidays at Starwood Hall, her family's manor house. But behind the holly and pine boughs, secrets are about to unravel, revealing the seemingly charming English village's grim history. Now that sounds super intriguing for just a short story novella. I'm very excited to dive into this.
All right. Hey besties, we are back again. I am now in Hawaii. This lighting is the most yellow lighting I have ever seen. It makes my teeth look yellow, but I guess we're just going to rock with it. So this morning, on the tail end of my flight to Denver and at the beginning of my flight to Honolulu, I ended up binging the entire novella, short story, whatever you want to call it, of Peter Swanson's The Christmas Guest. Is that the name of it? If I had the opportunity to binge the entire thing in one setting, I definitely would have taken advantage of that. It was so good for it being a novella. I didn't want to stop listening to it. So here I am hyping it up, but my final rating for it is going to be a 3.5 star. I feel like 4 stars is just too much for a 3-hour short story. I don't know if anyone could relate on that, but I feel like short stories or novellas should have like their own star system. Just when you thought the story was flat, the characters were basic, Peter Swanson took the entire thing, literally everything you know, and flipped it upside down. It was the twist of all twists. Everything that could have got turned around into some crazy side story scheme that you really didn't see coming happened. I mean, I kind of predicted who the killer was based on all of the information we were getting at the beginning of the book. I think you would be silly not to figure it out on your own, but it wasn't just a killing. It was more of a serial killer story, if you will. So it was a super unique take on what you thought might be a basic story. It turned it completely around. Now I'm like super wanting to get into more Peter Swanson. I've been putting off his books for so long and there's literally no reason for me not to. Please recommend me what Peter Swanson you think I should pick up. So since I was stuck on a plane for 7.5 hours straight, I was going back and forth from like editing, listening to audiobooks, to eating food, to watching a single episode of my Netflix show. I went ahead and started, what is this called? A Holly Jolly Ever After by Sierra Simone and Julie Murphy. This is the second book in this series and I am around the 50% mark. Holy fire, pepper, spicy, fuego, fire, house fire emojis. Boys and girls, I had my parents buy this book for me for my birthday. Yeah, let that one sink in. Why did no one tell me this was this this hot. I am now home and I'm about 3 shades darker than I was just a clip ago before I went to Hawaii. I am now giving like Oompa Loompa, I'm too tan to be in Iowa vibes, but it's okay, I'm rolling with it. Who doesn't love a good tan? This trip though, I got tan. What I came on here to say is that during the overnight flight from Honolulu to Chicago, I actually finished reading A Holly Jolly Ever After. And well, this book did not slay. Get it? Like Santa sleigh? That was terrible. So I read this while out on the beach on the coast of Oahu. This book has been wet. This book has been sandy. This book went through thick and thin with me this vacation. And for that reason, this book is always just gonna have a little bit of a sentimental value for me. I'm also sorry if you can hear my washer going in the background. Okay, so hear me out. The first part of this book was perfect. It was a little holiday spice filled romance. The 2 main characters, Winnie and Callum, they are compatible. They got along straight away. Side note, my best friend's name is Callum and it was really weird reading a main character with that name because it's not a common one. So all I could picture this entire book was my best friend. Yeah, get to the second half and you put me on top of a sled and push me down a hill. That is exactly what happened. I would say kind of dumpster fire vibes, but if you've read this book, then you'll know the reference I make when I say it was more of a pizza restaurant fire vibes. If you know, you know. But what should you expect before heading into this book? 2 curvy main characters, a holiday workplace romance, forced proximity, religious trauma. He teaches her, and do not listen to this next reason if you want a spoiler for the entire second half of the book. It does my least favorite trope in a romance, and that's a surprise pregnancy. I did not know anything about this before going into it, and if I would have known that was the trope, I probably wouldn't have picked this up. The way the pregnancy and everything was handled, it was immature. There were just silly miscommunications towards the ending chapters in here, and it just wasn't a good time to read through. If you liked the first book in this Christmas Notch series, I'd recommend it for you to pick up and continue reading through. With my resting Grinch face, I'm going to be giving A Holly Jolly Ever After a 3-star rating. It wasn't anything substantial, but it was a fun small town holiday romance, so I will give it points for that. Okay, so my washer just got done. You can hear me a little bit better, so I'm gonna tell you what holiday book I picked up next. On the short flight from Chicago to CR, I started Lisa Unger's new novella, Christmas Presents. Whenever I see this title, I wanna say presents so bad, but I just know that's wrong. This is a short story, and it says, instead of presents this Christmas, a true crime podcaster is opening up a cold case. From what I've read so far, we are following our main character Madeline, and she is the independent owner of a bookstore that she keeps in business to help care for her dad. Her dad just suffered from a stroke, and he used to be the old deputy sheriff in town. One day when she's working in the bookstore, this true crime podcaster decides to mosey on in. And when I say mosey on in, he knew exactly what he was doing because he is trying to dig up Madeline's past. Madeline is the only surviving victim of Evan Handy. He is the man that was convicted of murdering her best friend and 2 sisters. But now some more recent disappearances have been happening around town. So was Evan Handy the person who really did this in her past, or have they let the wrong killer go all this time? And as of right now, I'm around the 32% mark of this book, so not very far into it. And what I can tell you so far is that I'm mainly reading this for the plot, not so much the character development. There's not really enough time for there to be a character arc. I'm not really invested into any of the characters. I'm getting some of them confused just because there's so many of them within a short time span, but I am intrigued to see where the story goes. I don't know why I felt like I wanted to be standing while making this reading update, but here we are. I have to make it fast because my camera battery is dying. But I have finished reading Christmas Presents by Lisa Unger. If I'm being honest, this is the first book out of this little reading vlog so far that I would not recommend. So I listened to the audiobook, and the narrative of the audio felt so choppy to follow along with. That might be because of the lack of character development between the characters, but honestly, I think it was more so the timeline and the plot. It had such a fascinating premise where the killer is wearing a Santa mask, but because of the issues I had with it, I could just never fully immerse myself in this book. book. We kept getting flashbacks to the backstory of how we got to the point of the killer still being on the loose, but I feel like that could have been summed up easily within a chapter rather than it just being drug on for the entire length of the book. Overall, I'm going to settle on giving this a 2-star rating. If you're looking for a short Christmas novella to maybe help you hit your end of the year goal, I don't recommend this one. I actually recommend Peter Swanson's The Christmas Guest. This one was a slow burn and the action really didn't kick off until the last few chapters, and it just left me disappointed. But for the final book in this Christmas vlog series, I'm going to be starting and reading Tessa Bailey's newest release, which is Wreck the Halls. I cannot express to you how excited I am to read this. I just feel like I'm going to love it. I have seen so many positive reviews for this. It seems like all my friends are eating this story up, so I am just so excited to dive into this and hopefully love it. Tessa Bailey can either be a hit or a miss, so I'm a little bit nervous. Also, I am sporting my holiday bookish sweater from Books Are Better Than Reality over on Instagram. They have an Etsy shop and a website. They do different holiday drops and just different bookish themed drops all the time throughout the year. Definitely recommend checking them out. This is quite the angle to film this from, but we're just going to roll with it. So the last time I checked in with y'all, it was about a week ago. I've just been adjusting back to Iowa, unpacking. That's a total lie. I'm still not fully unpacked. I've just been busy with work. My dad's been sick and just taking care of things, hanging out with my friends back here. So I haven't really had any motivation to read, but that instantly changed when my Libby started the 3-day countdown before the audiobook of Wreck the Halls gets returned. So needless to say, I started listening to this book and I just finished it about 15 minutes ago, and I'm still undecided on how I exactly feel about it. So this book follows Beat and Melody, very cheesy names, but they are the children of 2 former rock band members, and throughout this entire book they are tasked with bringing their moms back together for a final reunion show. They do not take a discreet approach to this reunion. They basically sign their lives away for the month of December, where everything they do is live streamed. In the process, they gain millions of people gaining behind them and rooting for them to reunite these 2 families. That entire part of the story, the plot, the snowball fights, the awkward situations that these 2 got put in because of that show, all of the family drama and past memories that they are bringing back up, it was done so well, and I absolutely loved that aspect of this book, which I wasn't expecting going into it, but there was just something about the romance between these 2 that I wasn't fully on board with. I've read so many Tessa Bailey books and it's usually a hit or miss with me regarding the romance. If I'm on board, then it's a 5-star, but if I'm not and I see these holes and start picking them out, that's where it starts to go downhill. It wasn't a complete disaster by any means. I would still recommend this if you are wanting to pick it up, but there was just something about it that didn't have me fully in love. One thing I didn't care for about this is that B, our male main character, he falls into the tropes of lying and withholding information. So if that's something that bothers you while reading a book, be lenient of that before heading into it. I think Melody was a little bit too easy on him. She did put up a fight, but if I were in her shoes, I am a stubborn person and I just wouldn't have forgiven him as easily as she did. The spicy scenes, they weren't really my favorite. I've read better. Overall, I think I'm going to give this one either a 3.5 or 4 stars. I haven't truly decided yet. There was a side romance within this story as we were following Beat and Melodies that I actually really enjoyed reading about. All in all, I really enjoyed the social media, television, popularity plot that this book had. The mutual pining was exquisite. There was the only one bed trope. And talk about forced proximity. If that's your go-to, read this book. So with all of those reads behind me, I am going to wrap up this holiday vlog here. This makes me so sad to say. Literally all of the books that I have read in this vlog, that's all I've read for this entire month, which is kind of silly, but at least I'm getting ready for Christmas. At the time you guys are watching this, my grandparents are already up and we will be getting ready for Christmas in just 2 days. I'm actually really looking forward to Christmas this year. I can't wait to hand out all of my presents. Let me know down below what you guys have read this holiday season. Let me know any Christmas, winter, thriller, romance book recommendations that you would like to see me read. While you're down there, hit the like button, share it with your friends. Y'all know what to do. I guess the only thing to do now is to go make some hot chocolate. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!
You like 9 to 5, I'm the weekend, I'm home.
Of course I'm going to do it.
My neighbors just got home and they are staring at me talking to y'all.
Also, I would like to add that I looked over at my mother and she was reading Too Hot to Handle by Tessa Bailey, the audiobook today. What is happening? What is happening?